Welcome. Greetings. It is my honor to have been invited to be here today. My name is Holy Old Man Bull. I'm also known as Marcus Arana, and I'm here as a member of the Ohlone people. We are all standing on stolen ground. This is Ohlone territory. And there's nothing we can do to change that but to welcome you, to greet you, to remind you to be really good citizens and custodians while you're here on Ohlone territory. It's really important to us. And always, always, always try and leave it better than you found it. I want to say just a few F words about Felicia. Funny, feisty, fierce, flamboyant, and fucking determined to get things done. Because when Felicia put her mind to do a thing, there wasn't hell or high water that was going to come between her and accomplishing that. And you only need to look at the street sign over there to see a symbol of that. Everywhere you look in the city, you can see parts of Felicia. And in this crowd, she's with us in our hearts. So I try not to speak in the past tense about people who have moved to a different place, because I think we're all still here. I think we're all still together. And as long as we carry memories and our love in our hearts, Felicia will always be alive. So it's also my honor and my privilege to offer an invocation, recognizing that we all come from very different belief systems. We believe in something, we believe in nothing, but it's a belief system. What we do all have in common that we share our ancestors, and it took thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of people over the ages to create each and every one of you that are sitting here. And the miracle that we're all here at this time, this place right now, is just fantastic. So call upon your ancestors, call upon all of those who have come before us, all of those who will come after us. Think about the ones you hold in your heart while we bless this day. Grandparents, those who came before us, those who come after us, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this moment and for the reason that brings us together, which is the love of a very good person who did very good things, and the memory of that person that we carry with us. We thank you for watching over all of us here and everyone who's on the streets, living around us. We thank you for having us into your front yards. We ask you to watch over everyone, keep everyone safe, keep everyone healthy. We ask you to please heal the world, heal the planet, heal the waters, heal the air. Give every living thing food, water, shelter, community, family, and love. And the world will be in harmony. Thank you for being here, and welcome. Turn it on, honey. Thank you. There must have been inside your shadow. Shine on my face.
You were content to let me shine. That's the way. You always walk a step behind. So I was the one with all the roses, while you were the one with all the grace. A beautiful face without a name. Of course I know you. Beautiful smile behind the pain.
Felicia!
Did you ever know that you're my hero? You're everything I was meant to be. I can fly higher than an eagle.
Felicia!
You are the wind beneath my wings.
It might have appeared to go unnoticed, but I've got it all here in my heart.
It's not on.
I want you to know
Know that you're the truth. 'Cause I know you.
I would be nothing without you.
Did you ever know that you're my hero? You're everything I was meant to be. You can fly higher than an eagle. Everyone here, 'cause you are the wind beneath my wings. Did you ever know that you're my hero? You're everything, everything I wish I could be. Whoa, higher than an eagle. One more time. You are the wind beneath my wings. I am nothing without each of you. And you are the wind beneath my wings. Beneath my wings. Fly. Fly. Oh, you fly. Fly, fly on the sky, so high, almost touch the sky. Felicia, you are the wind beneath. You, Felicia, the wind beneath my wings. Fly, fly, I'm on the sky, so high I almost touch the sky. Thank you, thank you, thank God for you, the wind beneath my wings. And now, everybody, here go my coat. Girl, where your bride, girl? Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh, if I knew this was one of those shows, I would have came dressed too, honey. This is my co-hostess, Miss Dee Dee. Everybody say hi to Dee Dee. I'm so honored and privileged to be standing here with you, Dee Dee. You know, we go back a long way, but you know, you go back a real long way with Felicia. So I'm gonna pass the mic to Dee Dee.
I can't see that good, and they gave me a script. So, hello, my name is Dee Dee. You better, and you better believe it. And you better believe it. Let's see. When I was a trans queen at 17, I joined the job board in New York. Then I came here, and that's when I met Felicia. And we lived at the Alrosa. Oh yeah, that hotel, that's where we met, the Alrosa. And then she stayed with me and Angel. We lived over here on 53rd Street. But her name was Bobby. Her name was, when I met her, her name was Bobby. And then around the 70s or 80s, Peter Pan, Rachel, this other queen, came up there and said, "Oh, I want you to introduce you to Elena." And I said, "That's not Elena, that's Bobby." You know? And that's how, you know, everything started. We became friends again, and you know, she went to the army and everything, and she came back, you know, and I miss her.
Oh, tell us a little more. Tell us a little more. Tell us a little more.
Well,
Tell us about your days of being tramps in the Tenderloins.
oh,
Now that's the juicy stuff we want to hear, honey.
when we used to be in the Comptons,
Dee, what did she call you? What did she call you?
What did she call you?
who?
Felicia.
The best cocksucker.
Ooh!
Yes, that's right.
The best cocksucker Western Mason Line.
Every time we went to different places and she introduced me, she would do that. Call me the best cocksucker. I said, how do you know? But you know, when we used to go to Compton's, the police would pick us up for female impersonation. And one time they made me take my bra off and walk the street with like this with the
Like
bra.
you're doing today. Like you're doing today.
No, but I had it in my hand. I had it in my hand. Carrying my bra, Okay. And then, you know, me and Felicia, we were like sisters. We would have our fights. We didn't talk for a year. And then all of a sudden she would call and say, do you remember me? I said, yeah. But we had our ups and downs. But we loved each other. We did everything together. We went to Palm Springs. She introduced me to Andre, and all that. Her best friend too, and Bobby. I wouldn't have known none of these people if it wasn't for Felicia. I wouldn't have known anything about the LBGT, whatever, without Felicia. And then I knew her when she telephone. She worked in the telephone company and all that. Before she got her sex change and all that. So I had good times, and I'm going to miss her.
Yes.
And I'm going to stop here because tears are starting to come out of my eyes.
Oh, I love you. But stand up here, we have to. And before we go any further, I also want to say I met Felicia Flames Elizondo about a little longer than 30 years now, I think. And, she was a Spitfire, and so was I. I wasn't taking no shit, neither was she. This was back in the day when we were all homosexuals or gay. This was way before transgender and, gender fluid. We were fairies. We're all adults out here. We were cocksuckers, dick suckers, cum catchers. We were all the above, honey. We were all considered gay. There were not too many people, probably about a small percentage of people was talking about gender, and nobody was talking about no goddamn pronoun. Nobody was worried about what's my pronoun? What's my pronoun, Dee Dee? Back in the 80s. What's my pronoun? And as we stand here, this is a historical spot. This one block in the Tenderloin. And we need to get Felicia Flames Alexander name up here too, because she's a very, very strong and independent, iconic woman here in the Tenderloin to all of us. I'm gonna say this. If I step on somebody's toes, so what? I've been in this area for 38 motherfucking years. A long time. And I refuse to let people come into this area and determine my life. This is my Tenderloin. When I first came here, I came in before 38 years ago, and I met Miss Major Griffith Gracie. She lived at 7th and Howard at the Gina Hotel when she had her 3 little boys with her. They were growing up. And I was AWOL from the United States Navy in Hawaii, Pearl Harbor, and I met her, and she told me to go back before I get in trouble and go to jail. So I stayed here about a month, and then I went back. But Miss Major Griffith Gracie showed me the ropes, and she made me the woman I am today. Because at the time back then, I was questioning who I was and what I was, because of what black people were going through then. And pretty much black people are going through the same thing now. You know, I come from a time when, you know, it was, you know, black and white and green was the color of money, you know. And when I was born, it said Negro on my birth certificate, so you check that out, you know. So I just want to say this is a celebration of life. And Felicia, I know you're looking down upon us, honey. I hope you don't pee on us, honey. But I know you're looking down upon us, and we love you. And I guess it's about time for me to, yeah. Oh, okay. I have the great honor and privilege to introduce Rena, Felicia's sister. Would you come forward? I wasn't cussing too much, was I, honey? This is the tenderloin. We still get away with a whole lot. Ladies and gentlemen and everybody else, Rena.
Hi. Hello, good afternoon. I have a script here because I'll go off track. My name is Rena. I'm Felicia's niece. You will in time hear me refer to her as my Aunt Lena because that's how we grew up knowing her. She was my Aunt Lena. My mom, Mary, is her older sister. She's here with me today. She's sitting right there. First, I want to thank everybody for showing up and for attending the celebration of life for my aunt. She truly had a life of many different colors. As you may know, yesterday would have been her 75th birthday, so it's fitting that we celebrate her today. Second, I would personally like to thank the team on behalf of my family who put this entire celebration together. I thought it fitted to be done by those who had been mentored, coached, encouraged, loved, and friends with her for so many years. So thank you to the following, and I'm not sure if everybody's here, but Andre Kingsley, a longtime friend of Felicia for 40 years or more, taking care of my aunt during her final days at home and at the hospital, and for the love he's always had for her, and for also putting Luis in touch with me. Oh, okay. For putting Luis in touch with me to make this event possible. Luis Mock Gutierrez, for taking the lead in assembling this amazing group of humans. I appreciate you more than you know. Didi Ubeda, her longtime friend of 40 or more years, Orlan Rayel, Susan Englander, Jasmine G, Icio Peterson, Miss Billy Cooper, Satana Tapia, Dulce Garcia, Gwen Park, Sean Dorsey, Tina Aguirre, Rose Woodvine, Tita Aida, Michelle Alcido, Gail Ann Spencer, Bobby Ashton, and the many, many others who have contributed. Without all of you, this would not be possible today. Now, on to my aunt. As I said before, she had a very colorful life, but she also had the life as my aunt. I was about 10 or 11 when she went through her transition. Me, my mom, dad, grandmother were with her when she went into the hospital. When she was released, she recuperated at our house. My mom took care of her, making sure she healed properly. Us kids were just around to make noise and keep her company. Back in the 70s, this was something unheard of, transition. Me as a young girl didn't understand that at the time because as she had always been my Aunt Lena. I never knew her any other way. She was just my Aunt Lena. However, the truth of my aunt was never hidden. We were never ashamed or embarrassed of who she used to be and who she came to be. She was just Aunt Lena. She was, after all, a pioneer. Our parents made sure that we knew her story, and because of my aunt's transition, we learned how to be accepting of all people, regardless of their race, color, religion, or gender identification. We absolutely see no lines. We were taught that to love my Aunt Lena, we were to love everyone. This is how I also raised my children. My siblings have raised or are raising their children, and how my grandchildren are being raised. One of them is here with me today. She's my oldest. So for that, I thank her. And I honestly never got to tell her that personally, but I do wish I had. I have loved her unconditionally and without expectations. Now, for the generations after her, and those who are just realizing who they are, please don't forget how hard she has fought for you guys all these years. Yeah. For everything she's given, for all the freedoms to be who you are and express yourself today. Don't let her life be in vain. Learn from your elders. They can teach you so much. There are so many of them here today. Learn from them. They have knowledge and history that cannot and should not be forgotten. Take care of your elders because some of them have no one else. They have no one. My Aunt Lena was lucky enough to have had many who cared and loved her, and she touched the lives of many. Keep up the fight for equality, for inclusion, and to just be who you are. Happy birthday, Auntie. We love you. And finally, I just want to say thank you for loving her during her good times and her sometimes horrendous bad times. Thank you.
Let's have another hand for Rena.
Felicia did a lot for her.
Felicia did a lot for her community and once worked at Project Open Hands. One day she called me up and said they needed someone to pass out food to people. So I came and volunteered and ended up receiving the Volunteer of the Year award. Our next performer, Bobby Ashton, also spent many days and nights at Felicia's side giving back. Bobby and Felicia not only shared stages together, but also a deep friendship. When Felicia would be receiving an award, Bobby would be in the audience screaming his support. And recently we started going to Chevy's to celebrate our birthdays. Bobby, Ronnie, Lynn, Felicia, and Dee Dee. Though we never got around to celebrating Dee Dee's birthday, so Bobby, you still owe Dee Dee a birthday dinner. Okay, wait a minute. Bobby Ashton is a drag performer who was part of the Dream Queens Review and Hot Box Girls and has performed with Felicia and Sheena Rose as part of the Felicia Flames Tenderloin Queens. Let's hear it for them. At drag shows, a little more, at drag shows at Laguna Honda, Open House, and Stepping Stone. He can currently be seen at Peep Show at Club F8 and Club Badus in Oakland. I now present to you Bobby Ashton.
Never win. Well, look at me, I'm coming back again.
little story about a fateful trip that took place on a little tropical island, Gilligan's Island. My girlfriend Jasmine would be Ginger in that story, in that show, honey. Jasmine has known Felicia for 12 years. But, you know, if you've known Felicia for 1 hour, it seems like you've known her all your life. You know, myself and Jasmine, and before I met Jasmine, myself and Felicia, we used to run these streets together. These are some hollow grounds, honey. Yes. When earlier when someone said put your mouth closer to the mic, this is the area for it, honey. This is the Tenderloin. If you spend any time in the Tenderloin, you know you heard once or twice, put your mouth closer to the mic. Jasmine has known Felicia for 12 years. They met through open house and when she became Felicia's friendly visitor, which developed into a deep friendship. Through a fundraising event for Metropolitan Community Church, when a brick was dedicated to the 1966 Compton cafeteria riots, and through working on the Vicki Marlena Street renaming together, Jasmine will be playing a Spirited Away melody, compromise of Always With Me and One Summer Day. Jasmine, I'm so happy and honored to be introducing my dear girlfriend, Jasmine G. Let's hear it for Jasmine G. Well, before Jasmine G put her mouth on that clarinet, honey, she's a hoe from the Tenderloin too. I mean, don't be ashamed. That's what we were back then, you know. We got to tell our truths, and if they don't tell their truth, I will.
The primary song, Always With Me, because Felicia, you are always with us. Not just one day, but all the time. Miss Billy said a few things that I was going to say, but basically, we had great times like Dee Dee going to different places, Palm Springs, and I got acquainted with her doggies, her kids, Gypsy Rose Lee and Simon Caldwell. Very creative names for her kids. But again, Felicia, you are always with us. Yes. We rest in peace, love, and power. We love you, Felicia. We'll miss you, but you will live in our hearts and minds.
husband, did you want to tell him you were a hoe? Because I told her. I beat her to it. Can someone help her back, please? Because I got one eye, honey. We'd both be tripping out here, honey. So now, my co-mistress with no bra on, Dee Dee.
Okay. Our next performer, Sheena Rose, has performed at Compton's Capita Anniversary event and sponsored Felicia in the mission
To educate the world. The world about trans history.
Sheena Rose, San Francisco drag queen, performs in the chart-topping dance house recording artist. Sheena Rose has performed at the Historical and Charlie's Lounge for the last 14 years and starts weekly in the Hot Box Girl Show.
I now present to you
Sheena Rose.
All right. Okay, Sheena Rose. Okay.
Some say love, it is a river that drowns the tender reed. Some say love, it is a razor that leaves your soul to bleed. Some say love, it is a hunger, an endless aching need. I say love, it is a flower, and you, it's only seed. It's the heart afraid of breaking that never learns to dance. It's the dream afraid of waking that never takes the chance. It's the one who won't be taken, who cannot seem to give, and the soul afraid of dying that never learns to live. When the night has been too lonely and the road has been too long, and you think that love is only for the lucky and the strong, just remember in the winter, far beneath the bitter snows, lies the seed that with the sun's love in the spring becomes the rose.
All right. Let's hear it for Sheena Rose. All right. Thank you, Sheena. Thank you. Thank you, my dear. I at this point in time in the show, I briefly talked about my relationship with Felicia, and I put in a little laughter, but knowing Felicia and knowing what she really stood for and who she really was, it was no game, because she was here way before I came to San Francisco. But when I came to San Francisco and met Felicia, she knew she had a job to do. We were being, we were being mistreated, and we were being disrespected, and we were being oppressed, and we were being marginalized, and we were being misused and abused, and it was a rough time, and Felicia stood up to adversity. Felicia stood up to wrongdoers here in San Francisco. Felicia stood for the small people who felt as though they didn't have a voice. I'm sure at one time many of us here today felt as though they had a voice. Of course, I never felt that I didn't have a voice, because I'm Miss Billy Cooper, and Felicia taught me, if you don't speak up for yourself and tell your truth, somebody else is going to step in and get the story all wrong. So Felicia, I'm so indebted and so grateful and so honored to have met Felicia. But Felicia's body is gone. Her spirit and her song is still playing in my head. In all our heads, I will always shed a tear, but I'm not going to always say I'm going to be sad, because she would want all of us to celebrate her life and her passing. Because, people say she was a little controversial, but I don't believe that. People say the same thing about me. But, fuck them if they can't take a joke, honey. If we can, I am a 62-year-old black, I'm a 62-year-old unapologetically black transgender woman. I'm not a woman of transgender experience. I'm an unapologetically black transgender woman. And I don't go for no shit, but I'm politically correct. But sometimes. But you gotta get in. I'm from the school, Felicia School, of teaching us to get in their face. And when you tell somebody what they're not doing, and when you let people know you see them for who they really are, they tell you, oh, we don't have time for you right now, Miss Billy. Miss Billy, you got to show us some better respect. Then why aren't you treating my people like they deserve to be treated? Why here in San Francisco isn't there more housing for underserved and marginalized people here in the Tenderloin? Whose bright idea was it to build a hotel in the nucleus of the Tenderloin? Whose idea was that, to build the 5-star hotel on the corner of Turk and Taylor? That would have looked pretty as housing for underserved people and marginalized people like myself. That would have been beautiful housing. But I wish I would have known about it, honey. I would have stumbled on some people's desk to City Hall or something. But, we're here today celebrating Felicia's life. And, I will always love Felicia, and I'm going to always keep it true to myself. And in Felicia's memory, I'm going to keep it real. You can count on Miss Billy Cooper to be real. Well, some people don't like me because I'm too real. But you know what? It's not my issue, people that don't like me, So I just want to say, let the show go on. So who am I? Oh, I have the pride, I have been given the honor and distinction to introduce my dear sister in the name of love. My dear sister here in the streets of San Francisco. Because I know she got a pass too, honey. My good girlfriend, Tina, Valentina, Gary.
I'm losing some jewelry already. This always happens to me.
No.
Right in front of Aunt Charlie's. I'm so happy about this event today. Miss Billy, thank you for everything. Luis, Maceo, everybody who's organizing. I'm so happy to see Dee Dee here, Felicia's sister. I was close to Felicia because she was my mother's sister. Teresita la Campesina was my trans mother, my queer mother. And what I can share with you is that we definitely walk in her steps, her leadership, among so many people who've done the hard work in San Francisco. I see others here who've also done the hard work, Donna and Miss Santana. And we are a big family of people who are hellraisers. At the same time, some of us are working on policies and programs. Here's what I have to tell you about Felicia. She was definitely a hellraiser who was intent on making sure that our organizations responded to what we need. And she also was just a whole lot of fun. So what she taught me, I shared a little bit in a movie I made on 16th Street and a movie I made on Teresita la Campesina. Essentially what she taught me was that in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, mostly the 60s and 70s, when she worked with Teresita, Colette LeGrand, another mother of mine, and Renita Valdez, was that we need to protect ourselves. That even though people may want our light, people may want our cookies, sometimes they also want to hurt us, because immediately after that moment passes of ecstasy or love or enchantment, sometimes there's a moment of other feelings that are dark. And what she helped me to understand when I was coming up here was we need to be here for each other, that we need to love each other, we need to be able to have some fun, have some barbecues, share good times, and celebrate life. With that in mind, I love you, Felicia. Thank you, everybody, for being here.
We have some time right now that we would like to open it up. If anyone would like to briefly share some words about Felicia, maybe try to cap it at max 2 minutes, so keep it on the shorter side. But we also want to know that folks, if you want to share, just go ahead and come on up here. All right, we're going to start with Orlan. So it's my pleasure to welcome Orlan as the first person to just share a few words.
I'm Orlan Rael, and Felicia was my trans mother. She took me in. I met Felicia actually right outside Compton's. A few years before I met her, I was walking by Compton's and this guy came up and stabbed me in the back of the neck and tried to kill me. Luckily for me, he wasn't strong enough to dig the knife in deep enough, so I lived. And I was walking by Compton's and I saw Felicia out there and she had her little booth set up. And I questioned, what's going on? And she explained to me, about Compton's, and she started teaching me about the history. And then it really meant a lot to me because a cisgendered heterosexual male tried to kill a trans person right outside of Compton's and they failed. And that really meant a lot to me, learning my history and learning that all of my trans ancestors are probably with me that night, protecting me and keeping me safe. And from that moment on, Felicia really, her whole thing was, I'm your history, whether you like it or not. And that was what she taught me, she taught me that as a trans person, when I moved here, there were so many fights that I had to go through. But there were so many fights that I didn't have to go through because of people like Felicia. Because of people like Dee Dee and Ms. Billy Cooper and Jasmine and all of our trans ancestors that came before me and did those fights and created that path so that I had a starting point that was way before anything they could have ever imagined. And then my generation came in and we pushed that starting point even further down the road. And now the youth have come behind us and they're continuing that fight. And I think one of the most important things we need is that we need the trans youth of today to remember our elders and to include the elders whenever they make decisions. Whenever they create a Compton's transgender district, talk to the people that were actually at Compton's. Ask them what they want. Ask them what they need. Because one day our youth will be our elders. And they won't enjoy it if they're ignored, if they're left out of the conversations, and people pretend that they weren't around to fight all of these fights. So in Felicia's honor, I think we just need to remember our elders, we need to remember our history, and we need to learn to love and respect each other. Whatever that looks like, whatever group we belong to, we have to love and we have to support each other. Just like Felicia did, we have to keep fighting. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Orlon. And now I'd like to welcome Koi up to share some words as well. And again, reminder that if you would like to share something with us, a memory of Felicia, how she impacted you, please just go ahead and come on down here. We have some open time for everyone.
Hi everybody, I'm Koi Meza. I met, it's hard for all of us, I know. When I first came to San Francisco, I was a 13-year-old runaway and lived on these streets. My family were a lot of the transgender people and a lot of the other homeless youth that were not welcome in the Castro because we didn't fit in, we weren't the right color, we weren't the right age, we weren't accepted by anything under that flag. But we found family here. Some of us spent money and spent the night in some of the adult bookstores in the rooms protecting each other. And there was a time, I'm looking around and I'm very happy because one of the things that made Felicia very happy was my husband over there, Sal. We'd always go up to her and thank her for every time we were able to walk down the street holding each other's hands without being beat up by a cop or being hurt by somebody was because people like her and people like you that are still standing up. And when you see someone being treated differently than yourself, no matter who or what they are, remember, the only way we can stop it is if we stop it and stand up. She stood up, she was a screaming queen, and it's up to us all, no matter what you are, to scream like queens, so can you please give me a good yell? We love you, Felicia.
Okay. Miss Billy, that's me, introduces Colette Legrand. Colette Legrand is the twice former Grand Duchess of the Ducal Court of San Francisco.
She won twice.
She has raised funds for charity, and
Maybe that's why I didn't win once. She won twice.
she has raised funds for charity in the Tenderloin for 30 years, supporting AIDS Emergency Fund, Magnet, Mama Reinhardt's Toys for Tots, and many others. She has worked at Aunt Charlie's since 1998 and organizes her own bi-weekly drag show, The Dream Queens Review. Ladies and gentlemen, and everybody in between, honey, Colette Legrand.
She said she's late. She couldn't get a cab. You want to come over here?
No, I'm good here. Wow, I don't know what to say. Anyway, I met Felicia in 1986 at a bar called the Black Rose, which was just over here on Eddie and
O'Farrell.
O'Farrell. Hi, Dee Dee, how are you?
No, Eddie and Jones right around the corner.
Yes.
Right
And I was working there and she wandered in one day and we started talking and became friends. Oh, for almost 35 years. So I really miss her. But anyway, the thing that attracted me to Felicia was her sense of community. She wanted to always be doing some kind of something for the community, whatever it was. And she and I did a lot of events together, and she used to always get myself and Bobby and Sheena and quite a few people to entertain at oh yes, I couldn't remember the name of the place. I'm old. On Log and places like that for the for the elderly people and stuff like that. And as the young lady said, during my second reign as Grand Duchess, I needed somebody that I thought was really strong in the community that could raise money. And it took me a long time
to figure out who I wanted to be the crown princess. And so I went to Felicia, and I didn't expect her to say yes, but she did. So she was the crown princess of the 33rd reign of the Grand Duke and Grand Duchess that year, and she helped our court raise $90,000 for the various charities that we have to raise funds for. So anyway, it was my honor and my privilege to know her and to call her my friend for all these many years. Thank you all very much.
Oh, okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's thank, wait a minute, Colette LaGranda. Yeah. Oh my God. The Black Rose used to be in two places in San Francisco. It used to be at, where was it? O'Farrell and Jones, and then it moved down the street in between Eddie and Turk on Jones Street. Oh my God, that was a long time ago. I turned a whole lot of dates up in there, honey. Now this was back when I was slim and trim and beautiful, honey.
We all were.
Yeah. Yes, I'm a big old fat black bitch now. I was gorgeous back then, honey. So what am I doing?
Well, I could do some thank yous.
Yes.
So there have been a number of organizations that
Thank
come
you to all
together.
my benefactors over the years. Yes.
So just some thank yous to some of the organizations that are pitching in and helping out with this event. One is Open House, which is here and who do so much work for our elders in the community. We love Open House. Another one is Pride, that really helped us out. Pride in San Francisco. Next to them, we have Barricades. Another one is the SF LGBT Center.
Woo! Yes.
Another one was the SF Community Health Center and Trans Thrive with Tita Ida.
Tenderloin Museum.
The Tenderloin Museum came through with chairs, which is great. And you should visit them. They're just up a couple blocks down, or up, I guess. And they're wonderful and they're great, and they help us out with chairs. And I forget. The Transmarch, of course.
Yeah.
And I also want to recognize Gwen here doing all the work with the videography. And Cass is taking pictures from the OTI. And then Jennifer here with ASL. And then also with Jewel.
Let's not forget on Charlie.
Thank you, Charlie, for hosting us so much.
But it ain't over yet. We still got some time to go.
And we also got Fresh Meat who helped out.
Yeah.
So this is truly a community event.
I need some fresh meat in my life with it.
Oh, yes. And then also, of course, we are so thankful for the Boss family who provided us. I apologize if I forgot someone. I'll hopefully come up with it later. But I also want to acknowledge that the Emperor David Lammermoor and Empress Juanita Moore is here.
Yes! Come on! Please come out! Come on! Yes!
So we have royalty here from the court.
Say a few, let him say a few words, please. Come on. Honey, you done been a trap in the tenderloin too.
We both have, I've been here almost 30 years. Felicia was definitely one of the first people that I had met in this little fair bubble of a gorgeous land that we live in. And she never had one qualm about who I was or where I was coming from. She said, "Oh, you're here? Come on in." And I always felt that she was just right and ready for me. We rolled together, we laughed, we cried a little bit, and made fun of a few other folks that deserved it at a given day. And but I love that person with my whole heart. So, bless you, Felicia.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you all for coming out on this day. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And in welcoming additional people who have not prepared anything, we'd like to welcome Shauna Virago just to share a little bit about the history that they had together. So, Shauna Virago, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. My name is Shauna Virago, and I know that Felicia would have been very, very moved today because she was a diva and she loved attention. I first met her in 1997, and I will say it did include this bar here, Aunt Charlie's, and it's interesting because she was probably younger than I am now, so it was definitely a generational moment of getting to know one another and like each other and know that we cared about our communities and our struggles. And I do want to point out that in 1997 and 1990, a lot of us were still dying, but we could not have come together like this. And I think sometimes we forget as we keep fighting our struggles and we keep getting pushed back, we keep succeeding, pushed back, succeeding, that we're here today to celebrate Felicia, and we keep showing up for each other. And I think I want us to remember that Felicia had a lot to do with creating this kind of intersection of communities that we see out here today. That to me is her legacy. She took a lot of us under her wing, and she kind of showed us the ropes and gave us a roadmap to be fierce and strong. So I just want to give Felicia a bit of love right now. We love you, baby. We love you. Thank you.
Thank you, Shauna. And now I'd like to welcome Maseo up just to share a few words about the fundraiser that we're doing for one of our amazing MCs, Miss Billy Cooper.
Yeah, hi. So the other thing that I wanted to mention, people who have gotten it with their program, and then we have more flyers as well. There's flyers because our dear Miss Billy Cooper here is one of our mothers too. She's again been here at the tent going for a very long time, fighting for our rights in our community. And I just have an honor and a pleasure to be friends with Miss Billy Cooper and to get to know her and to be able to spend lunches and dinner and every moment with you is really, really a pleasure. And one of the things that happened is that she had a flood in her apartment, a pipe broke, and it destroyed everything in her apartment, her bed, her furniture, her electronics, her clothes, her wig, everything was destroyed. And she's currently in a legal battle with their landlord around what's happening. And that's a lot. And now you're in between places. You need to find a new place for Miss Billy Cooper to live because her place is uninhabitable. And so we have created a GoFundMe page to help support her. Again, because, yes. Because we need to make sure that we take care of our elders and all of our community, really, right? We have to be here for each other. And so we want to make sure that Miss Billy Cooper you can land back on your feet and that you will find a home and that you will be able to replace your belongings and you deserve nothing but the best. And so please, we'll hand out more of the flyers if you don't have them. There's a QR code and you can go online and you can give a donation for her and all the proceeds go directly to her. So I just wanted to say that, so thanks.
Thank you, Maseo. I would like to say thank you to Maseo and to Storm Miguel, my two angels. You know, they called me and asked me did I want to go fund me, and the first thing I thought was, am I going to go to jail or something? You know, I was thinking back to my old days, and I just want to say, if you have never, well, first of all, nobody anticipates an incident like this when your house gets waterlogged and you have to worry about the asbestos and the lead paint in a building that's over 100 years old. And I had to talk to the environmentalist people and I had to talk to somebody from the city to come out and inspect, and you know, they had to dig into the walls all the way down to the frame of the building, and it's horrible. But I just want to say, I'm not the first and I won't be the last person to go through a traumatic incident like this. So I just want to say, reach out to your neighbors. If you don't like your neighbors, or if there's somebody you don't like, at least be cordial and get to know their name at least. Because we never know when we're going to need somebody, a family member. Come here, honey. I love Maceo and Storm Miguel so much. I love them so much. You know, and if my tubes wasn't tied, I would have a baby. But I got my tubes tied, honey. But then I also want to say, I am a 62-year-old black, unapologetically black, transgender woman. And I just want to say to people, to everyone out here, thank you for coming. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for coming. Now we're here celebrating Felicia Flames Alessandro. But I just want to say, many of our sisters and brothers have passed away. And so many of our sisters and brothers didn't have a celebration of life like this. So I'm sure Felicia, we love you, Felicia. I'm sure Felicia wouldn't mind if in each of our hearts we remember somebody who passed away that didn't get a celebration like this, a celebration of life. Because many of us elders die alone. And especially with this corona crap going on, corona is far, far, far away from being over. You know, many of us are locked up in our homes and don't want to come out because of wearing a mask and are scared as hell, you know. But you know, I got HIV for over 37 years and I'm not scared of corona, honey. I got my vaccines. You know, if HIV can't take me out, corona ain't going to do shit to me either. But I got my vaccine. I was smart enough to get a vaccine, honey. So I just want to say, you know, nobody here loves everybody they meet. We don't love everybody. I'm the first to say that. But at least let's be respectful and let's honor people and let's meet people where they're at. And about name calling and worrying about, I'm not going to worry about what you're doing in your house or what you're doing in your life because that's none of my business. This is the rule I set. Listen and take this in your life. If I spend 75% of my time worrying about me and the other 25% staying out of your business. So that's 100% that I mind my business. Now if you got a sexy young husband, you might got something to worry about. But other than that, I mind my business. And one more thing. Even though I'm going through a few trials and tribulations now, I'm still blessed with the blood of Jesus, my Lord and Savior. And living here in before I knew it was District 6, it was the Tenderloin. It's still the Tenderloin. I didn't know it was District 6 many, many, many years ago. So I'm proud to announce that Miss Billy Cooper will be running for District 6 Supervisor. You know, I'm getting my ducks lined up. I'm crossing all my T's and dotting all my I's because I've been here for going on 40 years. Yeah. I'm a marginalized. Before I'm a black transgender person, I'm a black person. Long before I was a black transgender person. I know this area like the back of my hand. You know, people know me. People know what I stand for. People know that I'm a goddamn good activist and an advocate and a mentor and a motivational speaker. And you know, I have a stake. I'm a stakeholder of the Tenderloin. No matter what anybody says. Yeah. And you know, I'm going to do my best to be a better person because I don't want nobody coming up with no tapes or recordings of me years ago. So, thank you.
All right, thanks, Miss Billy. So I'm going to just share a few words about Felicia and again, we still have some open time for folks. If you would like to share something, please just come on down. We have maybe time for 2 more people to share. I met Felicia in the early 2000s when I was a youth at Lyric, the Lavender Youth Recreation Information Center. And I just remember being so dazzled by her. And she was kind. She was very, she wasn't always kind, but at that moment, when I first met her, she was very kind. And I got to know her very well over the years as we organized with the San Francisco Trans March for about, I think we did that for 7 years together. And when I had I got gay married, she came to my gay marriage. I got gay divorced, that was awful. And then she was really there for me through my divorce. And Dee Dee, how many times did she get married? 9. So Felicia helped me with my 1 divorce by telling me about her 9 divorces, which was incredibly generous and also gave me something to aspire to in my divorced homosexuality. She was just a wonderful, amazing person. I can't even imagine how much money she raised for HIV prevention at a time when no one cared about us. I think that woman must have raised close to $1 million. She was always out there trying to hustle, trying to raise money. We carried furniture from her house to the little corner flea market that they had so many times, and this giant furniture too. It wasn't easy. I don't know how she did it. But she was always selling something. She was always raising money for something. She had stacks of trans flags because she was selling trans flags one year. And just her generosity of spirit and her insistence on keeping her legacy and the history of our communities alive has been so inspirational. So I think that if we can do one thing for her, it's to always remember her and to just keep speaking her name, because she loved attention, she wanted to be remembered. So thank you. Woo! All right, I'll give it back to Ms. Billy Cooper. We'll put you in the middle here, though.
Okay. Everybody, let's listen to this song. This is one of many. Felicia loved Donna Summers, and I also love Donna Summers so very much. I saw her musical when it was at the Golden Gate Theater 4 times. And I can't wait for it to come back. This song encompasses everything Felicia was. When people told us it was the last dance, we didn't listen. We just kept on dancing to a new day and a new horizon. We kept moving forward. Felicia taught me a whole lot. She taught me to be not only a better woman, but to be a better human being. So I love you, Felicia, and we're still dancing for you, dear. I will always dance for you, my dear. The knees are giving out, I'm getting fat and everything, but as long as I can move around and be the best person I can be in honor of Felicia Flames Alessandro, I'm a happy camper. Yes. I need you, body, beside me, to guide me, to hold me, 'cause when I'm bad, I'm so bad. People say we're bad because we fight and we march and we demonstrate for what we believe in. I'm like Felicia in many, many ways. I will never give up. I will not let the administration or the wrong people in these offices, in these political offices, in the city halls and the White House and any other house they think they should be in, and register to vote. Register to vote. When you register to vote and you vote, that's when you make a change. I used to be one of those people many, many years ago. Oh, my vote ain't gonna mean nothing. My vote ain't gonna make a difference, but it does. So register to vote. Register to vote, please, because your vote counts. And if you can, volunteer in your community, volunteer in your network. You know, it's always good to volunteer and to be of service. And I also been clean for over 20 years, clean and sober. So, you know, that has a whole lot to do with the woman I am today. So, I think one of our dignitaries just got out the car, honey. One of our big dignitaries here in San Francisco. Come on over here, honey. So let's dance. The Let's Dance. Let's dance. The Let's Dance. Let's dance. The Let's Dance. My good friend, London Breed. London Breed, everybody.
Miss Billy Cooper, let's give her a round of applause. Oh, what a really wonderful way to celebrate our dear friend Felicia. And I'm really honored to be here with each and every one of you. Some people may not know this, but Felicia was my neighbor. And I got to know her before I even ran for office. And I remember when I first met Felicia and Donna, and I wish Donna was here because, hi, darling. But not this famous Donna. There's another Donna. Another Donna with, really long golden hair.
She lived in the building.
Yeah, she did live in the building. And Miss Donna would work at Mickey's Monkey around the corner from our place. And I remember walking in there one day, and I don't think Felicia took to me right away. Because I walked into Mickey's, and Donna, who was our neighbor as well, was very friendly. Felicia gave me an up and down look. She said, "Where are you from?" I said, "I live around the corner." She was like, "No, you don't." I said, "I just moved here." She was like, "Oh." I said, "I live next to the twins." And she was like, "Oh, okay." Like, I'm legit now, a little bit. But Felicia was an important part of the Lower Haight community, and we spend a lot of time talking. Sometimes when she'd go out and walk her dogs, she was always giving me the latest gossip. She would tell me where she was going to perform, even though she wasn't performing as much at the time. And we would have really great conversations. And in fact, eventually she warmed up to me. And so I told Felicia I was going to run for supervisor. And she said, "I don't know why you want to do that." And we had a nice little chit chat about it. And I remember this is the moment when I knew Felicia and I were good and we were like real friends. Because it was at the Harvey Milk debate for the District 5 supervisor race. Now that day was a hard day for me because I was working all day, I was busy, I hadn't eaten, and you know how people get when they don't eat. And I went to this debate and I didn't do very well. And I had a bad attitude and I was going through whatever emotions I was going through. And Felicia was there. And so I was mad at myself that I didn't do well. And so some of you might remember this, but I had a real hardcore conversation with a reporter where I went off and used every curse word under the sun. And before that, I said, "Felicia, I need a ride." I got dropped off. She was like, "Okay." So she was like, "I don't know if I want to give her a ride," right? But she said, "Okay." So after I cursed the reporter out, then Felicia looked at me and said, "Well, I guess you told him, honey. Let's go." And from that moment, we had a great conversation in the car. We went back to the Lower Haight. She went with me to a bar to drink and watch me drink and let me vent and let me talk about all the stuff that I was mad about and frustrated about. And that was the kind of person she was. She would listen to you, she would encourage you, and she would tell you also, "Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. There are so many more important things in life. We all know her work, her advocacy, what she stood for. And the reason why so many people in the transgender community even have the opportunities that we now enjoy in San Francisco is because one of the things she did say to me is, when you run for office, don't forget the T in LGBT. Don't forget the T. Because I'm going to remind you. And if you forget, I'm going to vote your ass out. And that was Felicia. That was Felicia. And so I know today is a celebration of her life, and we know how hard she fought for people, how much she tried to uplift this community. And the reason why we're fortunate enough to celebrate the first ever Office of Transgender Initiatives and Trans Home SF and the new program that I just launched for universal income for trans people in San Francisco. It has everything to do with people like Felicia and Donna and Billy Cooper and folks who have been on the front lines, who have paved the way despite the discrimination and the disrespect that they constantly had to face during a time where a lot of people would have hid their true selves. So today we celebrate Felicia for her courage, for her love for her community, for her desires to see something better, for the fact that she stepped out there on faith and she represented her true self every day that she lived. And those of us who had the fortunate pleasure to know her, we are the blessed ones. We are the blessed ones because we had that time with her, because we were able to share moments with her, because we were able to share a laugh with her. You know what it took to get Felicia to laugh about something. And when you would make her laugh, that just made your heart feel good. So today, as we honor Felicia, as we honor a legend, let us make sure that we remember what she did and the work that needs to continue. Will honor her legacy. The work that we do in this city that sets the trend for the rest of the country to follow will honor her memory. And today, as we celebrate Felicia in a place that she supported and advocated against and pushed for, and the riots and all the history and everything that have existed way back in the 60s, we know that her presence is still here, is cheering us on, is pushing us forward, and it's hoping that we will make things better for generations to come. So thank you all so much for having me here today. R.I.P. Felicia Flames.
Let's hear it for Mayor London Breed. And everybody look at the shoes, honey. Diva. See there, Diva. And Mayor, while you're here, I would like to make a motion. At the Gay Lesbian Center at 1800 Market Street, you know, I've been around much longer than that building. I remember when there was nothing there. I would like to pick your brain. I would like to make a proposal to go to that building, have a cherry picker come in front of that building and put transgender first. So you have transgender, gay, lesbian, bisexual on the side of the building. That would be earmarked for something around the world that many transgender, gay, lesbian, queer, gender fluid people would really respect, because as we all know, we've been talking about for over 50 years, the transgender people, before we became transgender, led the fight and led the march for equal rights and equality. So I'm giving you a task now to go to City Hall, yes, put you to work, Do whatever proclamation you have to do. But change, yes. Part the Red Sea, yes. But I think it's about time. I know it's about time. It should be transgender, gay, lesbian, bisexual on that building.
Okay.
Yes.
And last but not least, you know how hard Felicia worked to name a street after Vicki Marley. So we got to figure out something to do that will honor Felicia's legacy.
And if I have to, I'll sleep with President Biden. And I might even go back a couple months and sleep with Donald Trump. Let's get it done. Let's hear for Mayor London Bree. Madame Mayor London Bree. Yes, yes. Ooh, my heart is full right now. Felicia, hey Felicia. My heart is full. Yes, 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 yes. How many people here today would support that? Yes. Transgender, gay, lesbian, bisexual on the side of that building, 1800 Market.
Always put the T first.
Yes, always put the T first. What's your T? What's your gay T? What's your transgender T? Yes. Yes. So, bye, Mayor, Madame Mayor London Bree. Bye. Okay. All right, everybody. Put on your dancing shoes and stand up. And if you can move, let's see you move. Because we have a very, very, very special person, performer, resident of San Francisco, someone who's a community mover and shaker. She's an up-and-coming rising star here in San Francisco and the world. Yeah. I'm happy to call her my friend, my sister. People would think that I'm her mentor, but she's my mentor. Because, young people can teach us old people something. So, ever since I met her, like I said, she is a rising star. She eclipses so many wonderful things here in San Francisco. Ladies and gentlemen, and everybody in between, I give you Lexi. Rexy, old age, the one and only Rexy.
Turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit lonely and you're never coming around. Turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit tired of listening to the sound of my tears. Turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit nervous that the best of all the years have gone by. Turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit terrified and then I see the look in your eyes. I can do a total eclipse of the heart. Once upon a time there was light in my life, but now there's only love in the dark. Nothing I can say, a total eclipse. falling apart. Nothing I can say, a total eclipse of the heart. A total eclipse of the heart. A total eclipse of the heart.
Let's hear it for Rexy. Remember that name, Rexy, honey. Remember that name. Remember that beautiful face, honey. I'm so jealous. I used to look like that, honey.
You still do.
Okay. Dee Dee still doesn't have a bra on, everybody. So we opened the show with her with no bra on, and we're gonna close the show with no bra. I'm so glad we're getting reconnected, because we go back a long way too. Yes. I think you took some of my dates once before. Yes. You know, okay, you dirty hoe. But today is a wonderful day here in San Francisco. And I also want to say, I should have said to Madame Mayor London Breed, we definitely need a Felicia Flames Alessandro Day.
Yeah.
Yes. We need more than a street. We need a street too, but we need a day. You know, we really do. Because Felicia will always hold a special place in my heart. She wasn't only a resident of the Tenderloin, and where else did she live? What area?
Lower Haight.
The Lower Haight. Felicia Flames Alessandro is a stakeholder in San Francisco's history. You know, we need to get together with the Transgender Cultural District, and we need to have those bronze plaques in the sidewalk down here. You know, we need something like that so people can come and glorify after the transgender district. So that we need more here to let people know about the transgenders that created this transgender district. Because I'm probably going to say, some of y'all might not like what I'm about to say, myself and Felicia and many other women, when we were not transgender, we were called everything but a child of God. We have been here in this district a long time. We have been here long before the Transgender Cultural District was created. So let's remember Felicia, and let's honor her, and I'm going to keep her lifted in spirit. And thank you so much, Rena. Thank you. And your daughter, your granddaughter. Oh my God. Hey, Mary. Hey. What's your granddaughter's name? Athena? Princess Dina. Dina? All right. Let's give a round of applause to the 3 generations of Felicia's family. Yes. We have the Queen Mother, we have the Princess, and we have the Princess in training, honey. Yes. And here go Dee Dee. I think I done said enough.
Thank you for everybody coming. Thank you.
Say more. And tell us why you don't got a bra on.
It fell off. Thank everybody for coming. I bet she's looking down and saying, these bitches made it. Thank you.
Get home safe, everybody. We love you all.